Hi everyone, this is Victoria and welcome to my Instant Grammar Help video tutorial. Today we're going to talk about reported speech or indirect speech. That's the same. We use reported speech to say what somebody said. It's very useful when we retell a story or we want to say what we have heard or what we have listened to. So let's dive in. So let's start with the notion of direct speech. Direct speech is the exact words of what someone says. 2 months ago, I overheard a conversation between my neighbor and her child. Emily said, "I have found a little kitten." And her mom said, "It's adorable, we can keep it." Later in the evening, I wanted to retell a story, and I said, Emily said that she had found a little kitten, and her mom told her that it was adorable and they could keep it. As you can see in these examples, we have reported speech and we have direct speech. You might have noticed some changes that I had to make. First of all, I added reporting verbs. The most common reporting verbs are say and tell. Here I'm using said and told in the past tense. Well, the second change that you may have noticed is that I changed tenses, right? So present perfect, I have found, becomes past perfect, I had found. Present simple, it is adorable, becomes past simple, it was adorable. And can becomes could. So we have to change tenses. We use so-called backshifting. We backshift. We change tense by 1 degree back. And finally, you can see that I changed pronouns, right? I to she and we to they. We change pronouns so that we keep the same logic of the sentence. So now let's break it down and analyze every change I made so that it's clear and easy to understand. I mentioned reporting verbs, say and tell. Are they the same? Yes, they have the same meaning, but we should be aware, we should remember that there are different structures that we can use them with. Say something. Emily said that she had found a little kitten. You can see that there is no agent here after say, so there is no person. You can simply use a clause, a sentence. So say plus something, a clause here. When you want to add an agent and use the verb say, you should use the preposition to. Said to her mom that she had found a little kitten. And finally, when you use the verb tell in its past form told, you can simply use an agent after. Told me. You cannot simply say Emily told that she had found a kitten. This is incorrect. You should use here said. One thing you should remember when you report speech that we backshift, we change tenses in the reported speech. So to remember it better and to understand it better, I prepared a list table for you that you can download in the link below. But here I'd like to mention we have 12 major active tenses, the group of present tenses, the group of past tenses, and the group of future tenses. So as you can see, all present tenses shift back 1 tense, 1 degree to their equivalent tense in the past. So present simple becomes past simple, present continuous becomes past continuous, present perfect becomes past perfect, and present perfect continuous becomes past perfect continuous. Okay? When it comes to the future group of tenses, it's easier just because to create future tenses, we mostly use the modal verb will, and in the reported speech, we will use its equivalent would. So I will call you, it would be he said he would call me. When it comes to the past tenses, we backshift only two tenses. Past simple becomes past perfect, past past continuous becomes past perfect continuous, and past perfect continuous remain the same. We do not change them simply because there are no other past tenses that we can change them. Let's take a closer look at how to transform direct speech into reported speech. I love this place. He said that he loved that place. As you can see, present simple becomes past simple. He loved. But in addition, you have probably noticed that I changed this to that. Why is this? Well, there is a list which I'm showing you right now, a list of words. These are demonstrative pronouns such as this, these, and time words and place words that should be changed. I'm watching a movie. He said that he was watching a movie. Present continuous becomes past continuous. I have lost my keys. She said she had lost her keys. As you can see, present perfect we change to past perfect. In addition, you should remember to change the pronoun my keys to her keys. I have been waiting for the bus for an hour. She said she had been waiting for the bus for an hour. I visited Paris last year. She said that she had visited Paris the year before. I will call you tomorrow. He said that he would call me the next day. So now, once we covered the basics of a reported speech, let's practice a little bit. I'll give you a sentence and you have to report it. I'm planning a surprise party for Sarah, Jake said. Jake said he was planning a surprise party for Sarah. Wonderful. Present continuous would change to past continuous. Let's move on. I have never tried skydiving, Emma said. Great. Emma said she had never tried skydiving. One more. I was reading a mystery novel last night, she said. Excellent. She said that she had been reading a mystery novel the previous night. And one more. I'll text you tomorrow, Sarah said. Sarah said she would text me the next day. But there is one thing I'd like to mention here. We do not backshift every time we have reported speech. There are some situations when we don't do it. Okay, so let's just remember, we do not backshift when we have the reporting verb in the present or even future tense. For instance, she says she will arrive later. As you can hear, I'm using the present form of the reporting verb say, and therefore I'm not backshifting the sentence. Right? When we do not backshift when the situation is ongoing, like I like ice cream. I generally like ice cream, chocolate ice cream. And if somebody wants to report these words and they say Victoria said she likes ice cream, they do not backshift because this is an ongoing situation. I still love ice cream. But let's say I changed my preferences and well, maybe in 2 years I won't like this ice cream. So then somebody could say, Victoria said she loved or she liked ice cream. But we do not backshift when the situation is ongoing, right? We also do not backshift when the situation is current, and this is a little bit trickier because usually we do not backshift when we speak about the news. Actually, it's used quite often in the news. For instance, the president said they are improving the economy. It's just a random example. But the situation is ongoing, it's in progress, and probably the time gap between when he said that or she said that and the improvement is not important, or it's just ongoing situation. So the current, we usually can see that in the news. If you read the news, newspapers, or you listen to the news, you might hear that they do not backshift, and that's the reason why. We do not backshift when we have second or third conditional sentences. For instance, if I were you, I wouldn't say that. He said that if he were me, he wouldn't say that. You can hear I'm not changing tenses here because we simply do not backshift when we have conditional sentences. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Once we covered the basics, let's talk about questions. We report questions maybe most often, because when somebody asks you something, you want to retell the story, this situation, so you basically report questions. You should remember there are two major types of questions. The closed questions, yes or no, like do you like coffee, yes or no, right? And the open questions, they usually start with the question words, what, when, and other question words. So let's start with the closed questions. Do you eat breakfast at home? He asked me if I ate breakfast at home. As you can see in this example, I backshifted the present tense, do you eat breakfast, to past simple tense, I ate. And I also changed the pronoun you to I. But you probably also have noticed something else. I have added an extra word, if, or you can use whether. This is a linking word between the reporting verb asked and the reported question here. What else you should remember, and this is really, really important, when you report a question, you use a structure of a statement. In other words, you do not say, he asked if did I eat breakfast at home. It's even hard to pronounce, because this is incorrect. So you simply create a regular or sentence or a statement, right? So he asked if I ate breakfast at home. So keep in mind, this is the tricky part and you should remember it. Let's have a look at another example. Have you ever been to Paris? She asked if I had ever been to Paris. You see, I'm using the same approach, if or whether, linking word, and I'm changing the tense present perfect to past perfect here. Now let's talk about special questions or VH questions. What are you doing this weekend? He wondered or he asked what I was doing that weekend. As you can see here, I'm also changing tenses, present continuous to past continuous. I'm also changing here this to that. And as you can see, no extra words, no if, no whether, because we have the question word what, which actually is our linking transition, word here in this reported speech. And please remember, the word order remains the same as in a statement. Let's have a look at another one. How much does this dress cost? She asked how much that dress cost. Cost is an irregular verb, and you remember it has three similar forms: cost, cost, cost. Therefore, present simple and past simple, you can see here, we do not change the verb. But I'm changing the demonstrative pronoun this to that, and that's basically what you have to remember about reported questions. Now, once we covered the basics, let's practice a little bit. Anna asked, "Where do you live?" Amazing. Anna asked where I lived. Mary asked, "What are you doing tomorrow?" Mary asked what I was doing the next day. John asked, "Are you studying for the exam?" Great. John asked if I was studying for the exam. Okay, so let's move on and talk about commands, requests, suggestions, and offers. When we talk about those sentences, we have a variety of reporting verbs that can be used. Among those, say, tell, beg, suggest, and many others. But we will focus just on a few for the purposes of today's video. So, close the door, she told Alex. She told Alex to close the door. As you can see, we do not change tenses here because there are no tenses, as you can see. We simply use an infinitive form, to close. Let's have a look at the negative imperative sentence. Don't open this box, Mom told Alex. Mom told Alex not to open that box. As you can see, I'm using an infinitive and I'm adding a negative particle not before the infinitive. Sometimes you can see sentences like this. Can you help me with the cleaning? She asked me to help her with the cleaning. Or please help me. She begged me to help her. And finally, let's talk about suggestions. When I speak about suggestions, I mean sentences like, why don't we go out? Or let's go out. To report such sentences, we simply can use the verb suggest. And he suggested going out. As you can see, after the verb to suggest, we use a gerund form. So as you can guess probably from these examples, there are different structures that can be used in reported speech, and I will cover more in the next video. So guys, that's all for today. I hope you learned a lot, and even though it may seem a little bit intimidating and complicated, you will master it as you practice. And for this purpose, I have uploaded a PDF that you can download by clicking the link in this video's description. And if you like the video, so subscribe, share it, and follow me exploring more grammar. Bye bye. See you.